Amazing. Now you said that the community grassroots building is kind of the basis for our future.
Yeah.
You saw that here in Cedar Rapids, and how Cedar Rapids could be used as a microcosm as to what's going to happen throughout the U.S.?
Yes. I mean, we're working on that. It is happening, but I have to tell you, it's happening with huge amounts of resistance, because the power structure that existed before the flood would like to see those, the $1 billion go to the same real estate developers, go to the same large businesses, and basically, let the small businesses be the sacrificial lambs to the disaster. In a disaster like this, statistically, 50% of the small businesses never come back. Well, here in Cedar Rapids, several hundred of those small businesses have now formed a small business collective, not a formal collective, but a collective and community response to help each other survive. These are small business people that used to maybe say hi to each other as they were having coffee in the cafe, but they're really bonding together, and they've actually now put together their own lobbying effort to send people to Washington and to Des Moines, to the legislature, and say that you've got to give priority to the real structure here of the homeowners and the not just throw money at the big guys. So there is a real grassroots organizing effort underway in Cedar Rapids that was totally non-existent before the flood.
Perfect. And what advice would you tell people, young youth across the country, across the world? What can people start doing today in their communities as individuals or part of the nationwide movement?
I think that the youth are uniquely positioned to be the change more so than ever before. If you notice Ron Paul's campaign over the last year, here's a 17-year-old guy that knows nothing about the internet, yet people were raising millions of dollars, like $4 million in one day, $6 million in another day. The press wasn't giving them any attention, so people were using YouTube, and it was largely the youth using YouTube to create their own documentaries, their own videos, and this whole movement sprang up out of nowhere for this guy who doesn't look presidential, doesn't sound presidential, has contrarian views. So we have the resources today in the internet. The internet also gives anyone the ability to create an organization and to create an enterprise, like that. And you can build a social movement, you can build a business, you can find resources, people to collaborate with you online, people to donate money to your cause online, and young people have been brought up in the age of the internet. The millennials, it's a different culture. It's on the internet you share, on the internet you collaborate, you talk about things, and that's not how it's been over the last several decades. It's been a lot more divisive. Back in the 60s when it was very anti-establishment and there was the power struggle and everything now, and the millennials are more about cooperation and collaboration and sharing and coming together. And so and I really think that they look at adults today and how we deal with international relations and everything else. It doesn't make sense that we don't talk to people. It doesn't make sense that we don't collaborate. And so for me, I really see it's time for the young people to lead, and their innocence and their ideas and their open hearts are exactly what the rest of us need. Because it's easy to become cynical and resigned and angry, living in a world that in a lot of ways that isn't working. So young people, through the YouTube videos, through starting the movements, have the power to
through BioTours. Those are things
what you
that
guys are doing right here.
You're out there. Really, it's a moving education. Both for yourselves. I know you're learning huge amounts as you travel, but you're also teaching others and moving things along as you go. And it is. I'm 58 years old, so I experienced the '60s firsthand. I was in Haight-Ashbury. I was in Boulder, Colorado, when thousands of kids were just living on the street. Literally, they took over the streets. Sleeping bags all up and down the hill outside of the campus. And you know, I saw the energy of that youth revolution that time, and I refer to what is I see emerging coming up out of the collapse of our present culture as the 60s with substance. And the reason why I see it as the 60s with substance is the 60s were that anti-war was the main rallying cry, and here it's more sustainability and environmental stewardship is the central focus of the emerging youth movement in this country. And so that's extremely positive. That's about making something happen. And so that means the movement itself is sustainable because you're creating something.
Well, just one last thing I'd put in there for young people is start a business. You know, if we want to be the change, if we want to cause change, whether that's peace around the world or, you know, a better environment, whatever, it's gonna take being financially healthy. There's a lot of people that want to be the change that have, you know, such a negative view of business, of money, of marketing, and these sorts of things. But these are just tools. These are just tools that empower you to spread your message, whatever your message is. So get experience with that, build entrepreneurial alliances, and build a new power structure
that's self-sufficient, sustainable, and it's based on community. When we were working on the book yesterday, one theme we really made a major distinction is between empire and enterprise. Because empire is what we're experiencing now. We have several branches of empire. We have a military-industrial empire. We have a pharmaceutical medical empire. We have a mass media empire. But every one of those, there is a corresponding enterprise zone. You know, we have an energy empire that's pretty much petroleum-based. So if you look at the petroleum empire, there's all kinds of enterprise opportunity to do solar and wind, and the most efficient thing is to reduce the use of power through well-built homes that are used. We can easily build, in fact, homes that are being built here in Cedar Rapids now post-flood. There are some builders that are really designing it for zero-use energy, you know, because by incorporating solar and that type of thing, you can get to a zero use in a home.
But the empires, you know, in every domain are failing us. You know, the pharmaceutical empire, the food empire, these things of, you know, these different industries have often pursued profit at the expense of our well-being. So what that means is there's opportunity. You know, there's opportunity to create businesses that honor our wellness and our health and our well-being. But in every industry, you know, there's tremendous opportunity. And as we come into times of crisis, you know, if our government fails, if the economy fails, it could be this terrible thing. And, you know, as people lose their property, lose their jobs, you know, violence tends to rise, and this could really become a really nasty environment. But it's really an opportunity. It is an opportunity for renewal, to question a lot of the assumptions we have, and to rebuild in a way that's sustainable, in a way that works.
One of the themes in the book we were working on yesterday was kind of looking at counterbalances, you know, empire or enterprise. Another counterbalance we were looking at was chaos or community, because during a collapse, chaos is that's the fear-based response. You know, everyone is fearful. They fight each other for limited resources. But as was demonstrated in Argentina, they were intelligent enough to create a community response where they kept a civil society, and actually are building it back in to real economic strength now.